And I'm back. Welcome back. Had some technical difficulties. My video kind of cut out on me there, so we're back. Alright, so now you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 strips of white paper. Alright. Now, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 strips of white paper. And I see 1, 2 strips of black paper. So I'm going to take that black paper. I have some left over from our snowman popper yesterday. So I am going to cut some strips of that. And I'm going to make them the same size as these. So I want to make sure that I do it from the right side, because since I cut off a piece, I need to make sure that I do it kind of from the right side. Okay. And then I'm just going to fold it to make it easier for myself. I'll have a nice straight line to cut along. And I'm going to need to cut out 2 of those strips of black paper for his hat. Okay. So I've folded it over one time here. I should have gotten a little bit off track. One time, so there's one fold. And then I'm just going to, kind of like Lions and Cubs, how we fold back and forth to make our little kind of springs out of paper. Okay, we've made a couple of crafts like that. So now I'm going to fold it back again, and I might be just lucky enough, I am just lucky enough today, that I won't have to really trim anything off. I'm going to fold it, and I'm actually going to get 3 out of this. So I'm just going to, I didn't have to make it too tricky here for myself, so I'm just going to open, shut them, and give a little cut. Ooh, I got a little off, but that's okay. And then got my next one. If it's a little straighter, then we'll use those 2. Perfect. Okay, now I do have 3. I only need 2, so pick your best 2. 4 white, 2 black, and you are ready to rock and roll here with our little snowman. I also have a little bit of orange because our snowman has a carrot nose. And what color are carrots? They are usually orange, right? Although we did try growing some purple ones in the summertime, and it was interesting, but they didn't taste as good. Alright, so I'm going to just take a little snip of orange paper here, and I'm going to cut it into a shape that has 3 sides. Who knows what shape that is? Any guesses? It's a triangle! That's right, you guys are so awesome at your shapes. Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to use tape. You can use glue, you can use tape, or you could use a stapler if you'd like to make your paper chain. I'm just going to use tape because that's what I have handy, and we're just going to run with that. So, got my trusty tape here. Threw in a little ad there. Just kidding. And I am going to put the tape right on the end so I have it ready and make my first loop. Okay. Since I'm using tape, I don't really need to worry about overlapping too much. Now our next one here has to go through before you put on, before you put on the, well, I guess not, it doesn't have to be before. Put on the next strip of tape, and then make sure you leave a little bit of a gap there, and then put it through the hole and fold it over, line it up, and tape it down. Okay, so we have our next little section. Okay, number 3, piece of tape, match it up to the paper, put it through again, and this is how we make a paper chain. And you could make this snowman as tall as you wanted. as many pieces of paper as you want to use, you sure can. Since usually our snowman will have 3 body parts, or maybe yours will be much, much, much taller. I don't know. It's up to you. I hope that you will send in some pictures into Blooms of maybe you guys having a snowman popper fight, or with the pom-poms like yesterday, or maybe you'll send in some pictures in Blooms of your snowman. I hope to see them all, and I can't wait to hear you tell me all about your fun adventures over this winter break here. Okay, next piece of tape, our last one, but like I said, if you wanted to make a nice tall snowman, by all means use another piece of paper and make it as tall as you want. Okay, so I'm just going to stick with this size, and then what I'm going to do, you don't need to, but I'm going to make it so that there's no pieces of tape kind of visible, so that we're all kind of tucked in there a little bit. Alright, so there's my little snowman body, his head and his body, his bottom part of his body here. I guess you could put another one, and then you would have 3 body sections that are facing you. So you could totally do it that way. I'm just running with my little sample that I had. That's how big I'm going to make it. And because it's so easy when it takes up 1 piece of paper. Okay, now what we're going to do to make his hat, super easy. Grab your black piece of paper and your piece of tape, or your glue, or your stapler. Staplers are so much fun for fine motor and just fun to staple things, so feel free to use staples. Alright, and I'm just going to tape, whoops, line it up a little bit better. Tape it up. Tuck the tape underneath just because I think it looks better. Okay, and that's the start of the hat. And then one more folding through. I probably wouldn't use more than 2 strips for the hat. I guess unless you wanted a really tall hat, but I think you're probably good with just 2 strips for the hat. Okay, now fold it over. And there's my snowman. You could even, if you really wanted to, and maybe it would look a little better as if this strip was a little bit narrower. Now that I'm kind of looking at it, I feel like maybe I'm going to make it a little narrower. It's the nice thing about tape and paper, you can kind of tweak it how you want to. So I need my scissors again, and I'm just going to cut just a little bit off. Not half, maybe a quarter of it I'll take off, just to, because the top of a hat looks a little smaller, right? So let's see how that turns out for us. Alright, I think I could probably even go a little bit narrower, but I'm going to run with it, and we're going to live with it like that. Okay, so I need my tape on there, and I am going to tape that together, fold the tape part underneath, and ta-da! I have a little snowman. Now, I am going to decorate him just with my black Sharpie marker, and where did our little carrot nose go? What shape was it again? That's right, it's a triangle. So I'm going to add that little triangle to my snowman's face. And since my glue is still missing, I'm just going to use a piece of tape. Add that there. Ta-da! And then I'm going to use my little marker to give him some eyes. You could, if you had buttons, glue them on there, or maybe some googly eyes would be very cool and turn out really great. Whoop. If you wanted to add some eyelashes, make it like a little girl, you sure could. Alright. And then I'm going to put some little buttons on my snowman. Maybe you could use real ones if you wanted to. I'm just going to show you kind of real basic. There you go. super cute little craft, and you could, like we said, make them as long as you want. Maybe you could make them as many days as there are in January, and then count them down and have them melt away as the month goes through. That would be kind of a fun thing to do with it. All right, friends, it was so fun to see you today. I hope you enjoyed our craft. Let's finish with a story. Snow Day. Something woke us early in the morning. Maybe it was the silence. Millions of snowflakes drifted down. Everything was covered in a deep blanket of snow. Would it be deep enough? Would school be closed? We waited and waited. I was just about to drag myself out the door when we heard the magic words. Snow Day! Woohoo! My friends were already outside. We threw ourselves onto the snow, making angels and catching flakes with our tongues. Mops did it too. People were digging out their cars. The big kids were going to clear walks for the old people, so we grabbed our shovels and followed. But our way was blocked by a huge train pushing through the snow. It wouldn't give up, and neither would our neighbor. We waved as the snowplow rumbled up the road. The grown-ups didn't. Mops just barked. After lunch, we headed for the park for hockey and tag. The old maple was home free. Mops didn't know who was it, so he chased everyone. He even chased the puck. Our fingers and toes were frozen, and our pants were soaked from falling down, but nobody cared. On the way home, we passed fantastic snow blocks. We just couldn't leave them behind. They'd be great for a snow fort. It had a roof and a flag and a tunnel for a door. It was the greatest snow fort ever. Mops helped. So did Mouse, our cat. Our faces were stinging by the time Mom called us in. She gave us hot chocolate. We told her about our fort. When our clothes were dry, we headed back out to build a monster slide. Mouse watched from the fence where it was safe. By supper time, we could hardly keep our eyes open. Outside, more snow was beginning to fall. Just before bed, we had one last look. Millions and millions of flakes were falling. We fell asleep, hoping for only one thing: another snow day. The end. All right, Lions and Cubs, it was so fun to see you today. I hope you enjoyed our little online class today, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I can't wait to see you back on Monday and Tuesday next week. Bye, Lions. Bye, Cubs.